Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Watching the World. We're covering the Diddy's case every day, and each morning we give a little review of what happened the previous day in court. Today is day 4, and yesterday was quite explosive as Cassie ended her direct testimony. So today begins the defense side. They get to start the cross-examination. So let's start off. Yesterday opened up with a dispute. Sean's attorney said something that I thought was very powerful. In the dispute, they were trying to make a determination regarding some of the facts, and the prosecution ultimately won. So Sean's attorney says, "I'm snatching defeat from the jaws of victory." And that was the first time I heard that. Cassie had on a gray dress with black red bottoms. Diddy had on a beige sweater wearing a white shirt. He seemed to be in a much better space than last week when he looked very stressed out. Cassie claimed that Diddy beat her and others, including her friends. She said that in one case he threw one of her friends, picked her up and threw her on the balcony. Cassie was questioned about a night when Diddy's team member saw Suge Knight at Mel's Diner, and that team member came back and told Diddy. And initially, on the previous day, she testified that Diddy and his team members packed up and they went down to Mel's Diner. So in this case, the prosecutor asked her, she said, "What did you mean when you said Diddy packed up?" And Cassie said that they grabbed their guns and they were dressed in all black. Diddy would ask her to confirm if the escorts were cops. That came out. He was very concerned about that. Cassie testified Diddy beat her and her friends throughout the course of their relationship. The prosecutor asked Cassie, "Did you fight back?" She said no, because she said the more she fought Diddy, the stronger he became. That was her exact words. Cassie said the video was a freak off and she was trying to leave. Remember now, the prosecutors are charging him with kidnapping. So Cassie is saying that that day of the video that was released, that was a freak off with an escort. When Diddy got distracted, she tried to make a run for it. Notice in the video, she didn't have her shoes on. In fact, she was putting her shoes on, and in the video, you see Diddy coming down the hall, and you guys know what happened next. She said he threw the vase at her. So in the video, when you see him throw the vase, well, it was at her head. That's what she said. And these are my notes, what I thought I heard. So you have to take it with a grain of salt, but I'm telling you what I wrote down. I've been in the courthouse every day, in the courtroom every day. There was a text message exchange. I wrote down what I saw on the screen. This is after the fight on CNN. Well, I don't want to say the broadcast, the network name, but the video you saw on TV. Diddy says, "Call me." This is the text right after that. Diddy says, "Please call me. I got 6 kids." Diddy says, "Please call. I'm surrounded for my kids. Help me." Cassie says, "Put the robe on." So apparently he was still running around with the robe on. Diddy says, "Call me now. Call me now," again. And then Cassie says, "I went and checked everything. Jules is good." Jules was the escort. She says the hotel is okay with everything as long as you leave. Peace. And I believe that was her last text. No. So then Diddy texts. He says, "Call me now." And Diddy says, "Call me. The cops are here. You're going to leave me alone. Call me, please." Cassie says, "I have a premiere for the biggest day of my life." And Diddy says, "Call me. I'm about to be arrested." Diddy said again in text, "If you don't call me, you'll never hear my voice again. I'm getting arrested." And the prosecutor asked Cassie, Did he get arrested? And Cassie politely said no. Diddy proceeded to come to her 17th floor apartment out west and was yelling and banging. And they said that this was an upscale building. They revealed the actual address in court. Then they started to show us photos of bruises and how she had to cover up those bruises with makeup when she attended her movie premiere that very weekend. Then they went through photos of 11 sex workers, some of them known as the Islander, another one known as the Punisher. They were hired, these sex workers were hired, at least the 11 that were brought up. There was actually more according to Cassie, but anyway, they were hired in New York, LA, Miami, Las Vegas. And again, we're reporting live here from the courthouse. This is in live time. Cassie would take ketamine. It helped her to disassociate from going through those freak-offs, which they were numerous. There was a text exchange where Diddy had asked her to stop taking ketamine because he did not like it, because it affected her performance when they were having those freak-offs. Another point, we learned that there was a video going around that showed Cassie and Diddy in a freak-off, and we heard about it. I know I heard about it on Instagram maybe 2 years ago. So what had happened, Cassie had an associate named Sujit and I guess DJ Who Kid, and they somehow knew about the video, revealed it to her. She in turn let Diddy know, and Diddy was like, yo, we got to get rid of this video. Cassie said when the relationship started, he basically introduced her to opioids. And then the prosecutor asked her, and I'll never forget this moment, he says, she said, how frequently did he put his hands on you? And Cassie quietly said, too frequently. And it looked like she went into this whole daze of thoughts. Cassie texts Diddy, nothing good's come out of a freak off anymore. You treat me like Ike Turner. So this was a text that she had exchanged. The prosecutor says, do you ever initiate fights with Sean? Because when the case first opened up last week, when they were trying to take their position on which way each side would go, the defense angle is that Cassie was strong and she was initiating things as well. Okay. Sorry, I just got interrupted by someone. Hold on 1 second. Hold on till I'm finished. So anyway, Cassie says she did initiate some of these fights, but the prosecutor asked her, did you see bruises? And Cassie said no. But we went through so many videos yesterday where she had gashes in her eyes, bruises on her legs, big bruises on her rear end. The pictures were absolutely terrible. She went on to describe many other beatings, and like I said before, some of those included her friends on several occasions, and it seemed that they happened at all different locations. Her head, in one instance, was mushed in the floor of the SUV coming to or fro an event she talked about. And to hear this from her, I was really moved. She said she was getting kicked in the back. I mean, listen, you guys saw the video. I don't need to put this, in to you. So anyway, Cassie starts seeing Kid Cudi in a picture, and this is allegedly, even though this is the notes that I'm taking, so it is what it is. And a picture was painted of his car being blown up. And Cassie said that basically Sean called a meeting with Cassie, her, and Kid Cudi. They sat at the table. It was something about, and I'm only going from my memory, she said that Diddy wanted Kid Cudi's friends to see his car get blown up. And so at this meeting, it was something about Kid Cudi's car came up, and Diddy said, "What car?" You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty. That was something else. So I guess the car got blown up. I don't know. I don't want to speak on that. They haven't presented the car being blown up. This is all they told us so far. Cassie said that Sean hit one of her close friends with a wooden hanger on the head. And she lost that friend from that moment on. I guess that was around 2013, something like that. There was a vast array of drugs that were used. And I just want to break here. First, I'll tell you the drugs. Norco was popular, Percocet, Vicodin, oxycodone. And there were doctors that Diddy had lined up to write these scripts. Now, Cassie said the way they chose who would get the drugs scripts, right? Because these doctors were doing it. The government regulates how many pills you can get for a certain amount of days. So you can't, let's say if you have a prescription for 60 days, now I'm just telling you, I'm explaining in my words here. If you have a prescription for 60 days, you could only have, or 30 days, you could only have 60 pills, then you can't get beyond that. So Diddy's team, according to what she was explaining, all these individuals would get scripts and keep the Percocets or whatever pills, prescriptions coming in. She said sometimes she did buy drugs in her own name, on her own. And I think she said they were Valium, and there was one other one I don't recall. But it was like Xanax, okay? Something to sedate her, to take the anxiety away. I mean, she really went through a lot. Cassie got clean in 2022. And here's another part from the case. Last week on Friday, they were trying to paint the picture that Cassie was doing these things on her own initiative. And so the defense had brought up how there's an incident in Connecticut where it was her brother's birthday party and Cassie got into a fight with a girl. So Cassie told us what happened. She said she got drunk. It was a party and some girl took a sneaky photo of her. And so she went, grabbed the girl out of the car. Now Diddy's not there. Diddy has nothing to do with this. She pulled the girl out of the car and Cassie said she started beating her in the head. So, I mean, the defense is going to really highlight that moment. Let's see what else we have here. She said, she said that after they had broken up, they were staying in touch from time to time. And so I guess in an effort, and I think she had started to see her now, her husband. They weren't married then, but she had started to see him. She went to meet with Diddy. Diddy came back to her apartment, and for the sake of YouTube, and please like the channel, please, so we can get more eyes on this. She said that Diddy raped her, and then after he ejacked, he just got up and left. That came out of her mouth. Cassie says they did have relations again after that, and she said it was because they had a long time together. Somebody is over here doing a video while I'm trying to do this, so you hear them in the background. I'm sorry about that. Let me just move over a little bit. So before I wrap up, let me just get this thought out here. So now last week it was insinuated that Diddy had hired, now this is from the defense, right? And I'm telling you the best of my recollection, that Diddy had hired a personal trainer for Cassie and himself or whatever. and that Cassie started sleeping with the guy. That's what it seemed like. That's what I was looking for when she started telling this story. And basically, Diddy found out about it. They showed us the text exchange where Diddy's like, "I want my money back. I paid for this, and basically you cheating." I mean, Diddy last week Friday, they basically painted a picture that Diddy was very jealous. He was on drugs. Diddy standing on that. Diddy said he is guilty of domestic violence, but what Diddy's saying is not it's not, he didn't coerce her basically, the way that they're saying. A lot of this is voluntary, and his argument is that this is not racketeering, but more of his personal life of something that happens in Hollywood all the time. But it's when you have that kind of money, that's why the average person, let's say like a juror, wouldn't understand because they're not a billionaire. So anyway, it's getting time for me to go into court. I'll just leave you with the last point. Cassie ended up marrying the personal trainer, and from what I can see, Cassie is currently about 7, 8 months pregnant, I guess. I don't know. But well along in her pregnancy, she seemed to be in a good space. The only time I saw her crying is when she was reminiscing and going through those points about her being with Diddy. I did not see her really cry when she was being shown the video and some of these other things. The jurors are very interesting. It's awesome to be able to look and see their expressions, but this thing can go either way. I know you're hearing a lot in the media. I see it too, and I actually know some of the people that are writing this stuff. I'm not knocking anybody, but I'm telling you, when it comes down to it, you really have to stay tuned, listen to the points every day, stay away from these crazy sites that are just making stuff up. You know, I've seen people make up stuff. Now, I put out a video on my channel of the daughters leaving court. And people have taken my video and said that they were fleeing court. So there's a lot of bad stories. But I'm here to try to make some sense of this. From what I understand, Diddy has been clean for a year. I'm just giving you some inside information. And it's all based on what these jurors are going to come down to. But today, Cassie's story is going to be put to the fire, and they're going to cross-examine her, and who knows what's going to fall out. I will report that. And as you can see, I'm reporting my notes. I'm not giving you my opinion per se. And I won't be giving anybody my opinion because it's just too many people, places, and things on here. But until the end, perhaps. But for now, you have my notes. I took thorough notes, that you can see. Those text exchanges, I wrote down what I saw. I could have gotten some things wrong, but I'm only human. Hey, thank you guys for hanging out with me this morning. I'll be on other channels. I want to give a shout out to Myron from Fresh and Fit. I was able to get him into the courthouse yesterday. We've been hanging out all this week basically. Last week he used some of my material, my videos on his channel. He sent me over 200 subscribers. So for all of you guys that came over from Fresh and Fit, hey, I'm welcoming you guys. I'm going to be posting good videos. Last night I posted a video that went viral of the family leaving the court. And some people don't like that I said we support you. But the family's not on trial. Diddy's on trial. So you people need to chill out and basically shut up. So anyway, that's me. This is who I am. I'm going to grab something to eat real quick and go into the courtroom all day. Court is over at 5 this week. Next week, it'll be over at 3. And thank you guys and have a good day. And don't forget to like the video. Oh, let me give you guys a little bit of what's happening. This is the line to get in. It goes way back. And these are the heavy hitters here. All right, that's it. Everybody have a good day.